The Valkyria was dark, silent, cold. Captain Lena Ray's old warship had floated in the dead zone for 100 years. No one had entered it since the final battle. The Zarnik never found it. They believed it was lost, broken forever. But now, Ray 1 stood inside its command deck. She wasn't supposed to be here. She wasn't supposed to exist. Yet. The ship knew her. Identity confirmed, said the ship's AI. Welcome back, Captain Ray. Ray felt a strange chill. She touched the wall. The metal was scarred by old battles, but her hand fit perfectly in the control panel slot, like it had always belonged there. I'm not the captain, she whispered again. You are now, the AI replied. The lights came on, one by one. The ship's engine core hummed weakly. Screens lit up across the control room. A holo display appeared in the air, showing Lena Ray's face. The recording. Ray stepped back in shock. The recording spoke. This is Captain Lena Ray. If you're seeing this, then you're me. Or something close. Ray stood frozen. The Zarnik tried to break us. They took everything. But they forgot one thing. Lena's voice continued. We don't die easy. If you're hearing this, then my final plan worked. You escaped. You remembered. And now, the fight begins again. The message ended. The screen showed one word. Awakening. Ray moved deeper into the ship. She entered the weapon room. Dust covered everything. Old plasma rifles, grenades, armor with Earth's faded blue eagle symbol. She touched one rifle. The power cell blinked green, still working. So much lost, she said. In another room, she found something stranger. A sealed pod, not for weapons, not for crew. This pod looked different. She entered the code the AI gave her. The pod hissed open. Inside was a metal box. Ray opened it. A voice spoke from inside the box. Lena's voice again, but this time deeper, slower. Clone unit, if you're hearing this, then phase 2 has begun. I hid a message inside your mind. A plan, a weapon. You must unlock it. Ray dropped the box. What do you mean? What's inside me? The voice continued. The Zarnik think cloning is simple. They think they can copy us. But I built something more. A code. A memory lock. Go to the memory core. Find the shadow room. That's where I left the key. Ray's heart beat faster. This isn't just memory, she said. It's a program. No. The AI replied, it's something deeper. It's instinct. Ray found the shadow room. It was hidden under the engineering deck, a place not marked on any ship map. She opened the door. Inside, black walls. No light, no sound. In the center, a seat, round it, strange machines. Human tech mixed with alien design. She sat down. The machine activated. Suddenly, her mind exploded with images. She saw Lena's memories, the final moments of the war. She saw Zarnik cities falling. She saw secret experiments. She saw Lena working on something called the Clone War Protocol. It wasn't just a plan to clone a human. It was a plan to make a weapon inside the clone. To make the clone smarter, faster, deadlier than the original. Ray 1 screamed. Her head burned with information, codes, battle data, names of Zarnik leaders, locations of secret bases. She saw faces of others, other clones, made before her, failed ones. Twisted ones, broken, then silence. She opened her eyes. She remembered everything. Back on Zirek 4, Commander Dravik stood in the war room. She found the Valkyria, said a young Zarnik officer. Dravik hissed. She was not supposed to. That ship is cursed. She activated the memory core, the officer added. Dravik turned slowly. His voice was cold. Then phase 0 must begin. From the shadows behind him, a shape stepped forward. Another human figure. A woman. Her face was exactly like Ray 1, but her eyes were empty. Send in the echo, Dravik said. Let the clone face her sister. Back in the Valkyria, Ray stood on the deck, her eyes sharp, her hands steady. She wore old Earth armor now. Her mind was clear. Lena didn't want revenge, she said. She wanted justice. The AI spoke again. Orders, Captain. Ray stared at the stars. She felt something coming. A ship. No, a threat. Something dark. Fast, silent, track it, she said. Prepare defenses. What are we hunting? The AI asked. Ray's voice was calm and cold. We're not hunting, she said. We're being hunted. The silent ship floated in space, quiet, but ready. And far away, the echo was coming. Another clone. Stronger. Faster. Built to kill her. The stars outside were quiet, but inside the Valkyria, Ray was getting ready for war. She had unlocked Lena Ray's final plan. She had seen the truth inside her mind. She was not just a copy. She was a weapon made to end the Zarnik threat, once and for all. The ship's AI spoke softly. Captain, we have a problem. Ray stood near the command screen. What is it? Something is approaching. Small ship, no signal, no ID. But a human life detected. Ray narrowed her eyes. That's not possible. There are no other humans left, not alive. The AI replied. But this one is like you. Ray's heart froze. A clone? Yes, said the AI. But wrong. Something is broken in it, outside, in the cold dark. The unknown ship docked with the Valkyria. No sounds, no lights, just silence. Ray walked toward the airlock. The door hissed open. There she was, a woman. With Ray's face, same height, same hair. But her eyes were wrong, empty, cold, machine-like. She smiled. Hello, sister. Ray stepped back, hand on her weapon. You're not my sister. The clone laughed. I'm Echo 9. I was built to erase you. Ray looked her in the eye. Why? Echo 9 tilted her head. Because you remember too much. You are too human. The two clones stood facing each other in the long steel hallway. One was made to destroy. The other was made to survive. Echo 9 moved first. Fast. Inhumanly fast. She threw a punch. Ray blocked it. Just barely. The walls shook. Echo was strong. Stronger than Ray. She grabbed Ray by the throat and threw her into a wall. Your old tech, Echo said. Outdated. Ray stood up slowly. Blood on her lip. Old tech. Beat the Zarnik once, she said. It'll do it again. They fought through the hallway. Fists. Kicks. Metal hitting metal. Sparks flew. Pipes broke. Lights shattered. Ray's mind burned with battle instincts. Lena's training guided her hands. She wasn't just fighting for survival. She was fighting for purpose. In the command room, the AI watched the battle. Warning. Hull damage rising. Reactor unstable. Recommend action. Ray's voice came through. Rough and sharp. Lock her out of the system. Now, confirmed, said the AI. Echo 9 tried to access the ship controls, but the screens blinked red. Access denied. She turned back to Ray, furious. You can't win. You're broken. You feel pain. You care. Ray raised her weapon. Exactly. She fired. A stun pulse hit Echo 9 hard. She dropped to the ground. Shaking. Ray walked over and knelt beside her. They made you to kill me, but they didn't give you a reason. To live. Echo stared up, still smiling. You won't survive. What's coming? What's coming? Ray asked. Echo's smile faded. The Zarnik's real weapon, not a clone, not a ship, something else. She powered down, unconscious. Ray stood in silence. The Zarnik had sent a test, and she had passed it. Back on Zirek 4, Commander Dravix watched the screen. Echo 9's signal was gone. She failed. He growled. A scientist beside him asked, Should we send another? Dravix shook his head. No, no more games. Activate the protocol. The final one? Yes, the real one. The scientist hesitated. But it's not stable. Dravix's eyes were cold. Neither is she. Ray locked Echo 9 inside a secure chamber. She looked at the clone's quiet face. They made her like me. But without a soul. She turned back to the ship controls. She opened the last file inside Lena Ray's secret program. The Clone War Protocol. It wasn't just data. It was a weapon. A code that could shut down the Zarnik's cloning systems. Everywhere. Forever. But to activate it, she needed to go deep. Into Zarnik Prime. The alien homeworld. Ray sat in silence. She was alone. She had one ship. One weapon. And a war to finish. The AI asked quietly. Are you ready, Captain? Ray looked at Lena Ray's old photo on the wall. The real Lena had died fighting. Now it was Ray's turn to live fighting. She nodded. Set course for Zarnik Prime. The engines roared. The stars shifted. The last human was going home. The year was due for 7-9. Earth was gone. Long ago. The alien race called the Zarnik came from deep space. They attacked Earth without warning. Cities burned. Oceans boiled. Billions of humans died in only 7 days. But one woman escaped. Her name was Captain Lena Ray. She was the commander of Earth's last defense ship, the Valkyria. She fought until the very end. When the Zarnik destroyed the moon base, she vanished. No one ever found her ship. The Zarnik thought she died in space. They were wrong. 100 years later, deep in a cold lab on Zirek 4, the Zarnik scientists made an announcement. We have cloned the human called Lena Ray. Her DNA was recovered from debris near Mars. The test is complete. The clone is stable. They called the clone Ray 1. She looked like Lena Ray. She had Lena's face, her body, her eyes. But something was different. Ray 1 opened her eyes in a glass tube. Bright lights burned above her. Machines beeped around. Hurt. She felt weak, cold, confused. A tall Zarnik doctor stood in front of her. His voice was flat and cold. "Welcome, Human Unit Ray 1, he said. "You are not real. You are a copy. We made you." Ray 1 didn't speak. She only stared at him, silent, calm. The scientists thought she was just another experiment. They had cloned other creatures before. Most failed, some went mad, some died. But this one was still alive after 10 days. "She is quiet," said one Zarnik, "no threat. She can be studied." But deep inside her mind, something had awakened. Ray 1 saw flashes, fire, war screams. She saw her hands holding a weapon. She remembered orders. She remembered pain. She remembered Earth. She had never been to Earth. She should not have memories. She should not feel anything. But she did. On the 11th day, Ray 1 looked into the lab mirror. She touched her face. Then she whispered, almost too soft to hear, "I remember dying." The scientist froze. "You are a blank copy," he said. "You cannot remember. That is not possible." Ray 1 looked at him with cold eyes. "Then why do I hate you?" That night, alarms rang across the base. Security rushed to the lab. Lights blinked red. Something was wrong. Ray 1 was gone. She had broken out of the glass tube. The guards found the scientists on the floor, unconscious, no blood, no signs of attack. But they were both shaking in fear, repeating the same words. "She looked into my mind." Ray 1 had escaped the lab, and she had taken something with her. A small black data cube marked, "Lena Ray, Subject Alpha, do not clone." She found a dark hallway and moved like a shadow, fast, silent, efficient. Cameras failed to follow her. Doors opened for her, as if the base itself was helping her. She didn't know how she could do these things. She only knew she had to run. But she wasn't just running, she was searching. She entered a storage room filled with old human tech. The Zarnik had collected pieces from the war. Ray 1 touched a broken helmet. Her fingers shook. She whispered, "This was mine." Suddenly, the helmet lit up. A message appeared in blue text across the cracked visor. "Captain Lena Ray, emergency protocol active." Ray 1 stared at the helmet. She wasn't just a clone. She wasn't just an experiment. She was a part of something bigger. The Zarnik didn't know what they had created. They didn't understand Lena Ray's DNA was more than blood and cells. It carried something else, memory, will, purpose. Ray 1 put on the helmet. It fit perfectly, like it belonged to her. She turned to the door. Red lights flashed again. Sirens screamed. The Zarnik had found her. They sent in a hunter unit, 5 guards, plasma weapons, armor, no mercy. But Ray 1 wasn't afraid. She moved fast. Faster than any human should. In less than 10 seconds, all 5 guards were on the ground. She didn't kill them. She didn't need to. She only wanted one thing, a ship. She ran to the docking bay. She found a small scout ship, no weapons, just engines. But it was enough. She started it like she had done it 100 times before. The ship rose into the air. Alarms echoed across the base. The Zarnik fired at her, but she was gone, into space, into silence, free. But she had questions. Why did she remember war? Why did the data cube say "do not clone"? What had Lena Ray done before she died? Ray 1 set a course for deep space. Behind her, the Zarnik watched in fear. They had made a mistake. They thought they could copy a human hero. They thought they could control her. But the clone they created was more dangerous than the original, and she was just getting started. The stolen ship moved fast through deep space. Stars flew past the window. Inside, Ray 1 sat in the pilot's seat, holding the black data cube tight in her hand. She had escaped the Zarnik lab. She had no map, no plan, but her mind burned with one thought. "I need to know who I really am." She looked at her reflection in the ship's screen. The face was not strange. It felt familiar, like looking at a ghost. She was made from the DNA of Captain Lena Ray, the last hero of Earth. But Ray 1 felt more than just memories. She felt anger. She felt mission. She felt alive. The ship's AI voice activated. "Unit not recognized," it said. "Please state your name." Ray 1 paused. "My name is Ray." The AI replied. "Name accepted. Ray, access to basic ship systems granted." She started looking through the files, old flight logs, star maps, fuel levels. Then she placed the black data cube into the ship's console. At first, nothing happened. Then, the screen blinked. A warning appeared. Warning. Data locked by Captain Lena Ray. Top secret. Access forbidden. Clone units blocked. Ray's eyes narrowed. She whispered, "Then I'm not a clone." She reached for the controls. Her fingers moved fast. She hacked into the file system, like she had done it 1,000 times before. Like a real soldier, a real pilot, a real human. The screen unlocked. A video began to play. It showed Captain Lena Ray sitting in a dark room. She looked tired, bloody, but strong. "If you're watching this," Lena said. "Then the Zarnik broke the rules. They tried to copy me. They think a clone is just skin and memory. But they're wrong. I left something inside my DNA, a signal, a trap, a second chance. If you're hearing this, then you are not just a clone." Ray stared at the screen, frozen. She wasn't just a copy, she was designed, built for something greater. Lena had planned this long ago, before Earth died. Ray checked the ship's computer again. The ship had one strange file named Rebirth Protocol. It needed a password. She tried her name. It didn't work. Then she tried Lena. The file opened. Inside were maps to secret places, human bunkers, weapon caches, safe zones. One place blinked red. Dead Zone Alpha, last known signal from Valkyria. The Valkyria, Lena's warship, lost after the final battle. No one ever found it. Ray felt something inside her heart pull toward it. She set course for the Dead Zone. Meanwhile, back on Zirek 4, the Zarnik were panicking. She escaped. One scientist shouted, and she took the cube. Another Zarnik, older and more dangerous, stepped into the room. His name was Commander Dravix. He looked at the broken lab, the stunned guards, and the empty cloning tank. "This is what I warned you about," he growled. "Lena Ray was never meant to be copied." One young alien asked, "But why? She's just a human." Dravix slammed his clawed hand on the console. "She was not just a human. She was Earth's final weapon, a fighter, a genius, a killer. That mind, even in clone form, is a threat." The younger alien said, "Should we send a hunter fleet?" Dravix stared at the stars on the screen. "No," he said. "Send the Echo." Everyone went silent. The Echo was not a ship, it was a weapon, a shadow, something the Zarnik used only for the most dangerous enemies. Back in space, Ray arrived at the edge of the Dead Zone. Her ship beeped, warning, radiation levels critical. Entering old battlefield zone, she saw broken ships, metal bones floating in space. Thousands of wrecks from the final battle, human and Zarnik tech everywhere, a space graveyard. Then her ship's sensors blinked, life signal detected, weak. Human. Ray sat up straight. "That's impossible," she said. She followed the signal. Buried deep inside a broken asteroid was a crashed ship. Her scanner confirmed the name, Valkyria. She docked and entered the wreck. Lights flickered, air was thin. She moved through the halls. The ship felt like home. She had never been there, but she remembered every turn. Inside the command room, she found a chair, a body, a skeleton in an old Earth Forces uniform. On the wall above it, a message written in blood. "The war is not over." Ray stood in silence. Then, suddenly, the ship lights turned on. "Welcome back, Captain Ray," said the ship's old AI. She whispered, "I'm not the captain." The AI replied, "Your DNA matches 99.999%. Identity accepted. Mission ready." The screens came to life. One showed Earth burning. Another showed Zarnik bases. One showed the words, "Clone War Protocol, armed." Ray stared at the screen. The Zarnik made a mistake. They created her thinking she was just a tool. But she was not just a clone. She was Lena Ray's revenge. And now she had a mission. The ship flew fast through deep space. Inside, Ray sat in the command chair, eyes locked on the screen. Her face was calm, but her heart beat hard. The screen showed her target, Zarnik Prime, the alien homeworld, a black planet with red clouds, full of towers, ships, and guards. No human had ever made it this close. Ray was the first. Maybe the last. The AI spoke. "Captain, we are approaching the hive." Ray looked at the red dot blinking on the map. "That's where they keep the clone core." "Yes, it's deep under the capital. Thousands of guards, shields, traps." Ray stood up. "Then we go quietly." She wore Earth's old battle armor, light, fast, sharp. At her side, one plasma blade, one pulse pistol, and a small silver cube. The cube held the Clone War Protocol, a virus that could destroy the Zarnik's cloning tech forever. She only had one shot. The ship reached the edge of Zarnik space. Ray turned off all lights, all power. She floated silently in. The planet grew closer. She hid inside the shadows of old wrecks and dead satellites. Zarnik scanners passed by, but didn't see her. "Almost there," she whispered. Finally, she reached the sky above. The hive. It was a massive alien city, towers like claws, glowing red. Ships flew above like insects. Down below, she saw the hive core, a black hole-like pit, pulsing with green light. That was her target. She jumped. The ship's stealth pod dropped her down. Fast and silent, she landed hard. Rolled. Then moved inside. The hive, the air was thick. The walls were alive, covered in pulsing flesh tech. The Zarnik mixed machines with organic life. Everything looked wrong. Wet, breathing. Ray kept low. She moved like a shadow, silent and deadly. She passed alien. Guards slid through vents, hacked into doors. The memories inside her brain, Lena's training, helped her at every step. She was not just a clone. She was a ghost in the enemy's heart. Finally, she reached the core chamber. A giant machine stood in the center, long tubes filled with fluid. Inside the tubes, more clones, hundreds, thousands, all human, all still growing. Some had her faces, some looked like old Earth heroes, soldiers, scientists, children. She felt sick. They weren't making weapons, she said. They were making a replacement, an army they could control. She pulled out the cube, plugged it into the main console. Clone War Protocol armed, said the AI in her earpiece. Are you sure? It asked. Ray looked at the clones in the tubes. Yes, she pressed the button. The virus spread fast. Screens turned red. Sirens blared. Tubes began to melt. Clones dissolved inside. Machines sparked. Fires started. Then a voice roared. Across the chamber. Stop. Ray turned around. There stood Commander Dravix, tall, armored, furious. Behind him, hundreds of Zarnik soldiers. You ruined everything, he said. You made a mistake. Ray replied. Dravix stepped closer. You were just a test, a tool. No, she said. I was Lena Ray's final move, and now, she added, the game is over. Dravix charged. Ray raised her blade. They clashed. Ray fought like fire. She moved fast, cutting through Zarnik guards. She got hit, blood on her armor, but didn't stop. Dravix grabbed her by the arm and threw her into the wall. She screamed, got up, fired her pulse pistol, hit him in the chest. He growled and fell. She limped to the center console. The system was crashing. The clones were gone. The chamber was falling apart. She opened her comm. AI, bring the Valkyria. Emergency pickup. Now, on my way. The ship replied. Ray ran, smoke and fire all around her. She reached the surface just as the ship arrived. A hatch opened. She jumped inside. The ship flew up, away from Zarnik Prime. As the hive exploded behind her. In space, Ray sat in the cockpit, breathing hard. The planet burned below. She had done it. The Clone War Protocol was complete. The Zarnik's cloning empire was gone. She looked out the window at the stars. No more copies, she said. No more cages, just freedom. But then, a signal blinked on her screen. A human signal, old code, location, deep space. Unknown source. Ray frowned. She tapped the screen. A message played. This is Valkyria, Unit 12. If anyone hears this, we are still alive. Ray leaned forward, her eyes sharp. Her voice calm. Set course. The stars were quiet again. Ray stood at the window of her ship, the Valkyria, watching Zarnik Prime burn behind her. The hive was gone. The clone labs destroyed. She had finished Lena Ray's mission. But the war wasn't over. Not yet. The signal kept playing. This is Valkyria Unit 12. If anyone hears this, we are still alive. Repeat, we are still alive. Ray stared at the screen. Unit 12, she whispered. I thought I was the only one. The message was old, broken, fuzzy, but human, real. Her AI confirmed it. Signal is coming from Sector 7 Black. Deep space, uncharted, very far. Set a course, Ray said. We're going. The ship turned toward the dark. The journey took days. Ray slept little. She cleaned her weapons, checked her armor, and stared at an old photo of Lena Ray on the wall. They had never met, yet somehow, they were the same. Ray remembered Echo 9's words. You're not the only one. She had thought Echo meant more clones. She didn't expect a full unit. Finally, the Valkyria reached Sector 7-Black. It was a dead part of space, full of wrecked ships and old war debris. Earth and Zarnik ships both, broken and forgotten. Ray's radar beeped. Found it, the AI said. Ahead floated a large object, half ship, half station, covered in dark metal, almost hidden in the wreckage. Ray approached carefully. No lights. No movement. But the human signal was still playing, on repeat. This is Valkyria Unit 12. She docked, entered with her helmet on, pulse pistol ready. The inside was cold, dead. But then, lights flickered on. Doors hissed open. Ray stepped inside a dark hallway. Suddenly, a voice. Human detected. Welcome, Captain Ray. Ray froze. You know me. You are registered. Valkyria Unit 01. Ray blinked. Wait, I'm Unit 01? Confirmed. said the voice. She moved deeper. The hallway led to a large central room. Inside, she saw pods. 12 of them. Some broken, some dark, but 3 were still active, glowing blue. She stepped closer. Inside the pods, humans. 2 women, 1 man, all wearing Earth military suits, still breathing, still alive. A screen nearby showed their names: Unit 03, LT, Maren. Unit 06, SKT, Vega. Unit 12. Commander Orion Ray's eyes widened. They weren't clones. They were real soldiers, frozen, hidden. Saved. The voice spoke again. These are survivors from the final Earth battle. Last team of the Valkyria program, Ray whispered. Why didn't the Zarnik find you? Signal jammed, cloaking active. System kept them in stasis. Until now. Suddenly, a red light flashed. Alert. Intruder detected. Ray turned fast. Footsteps. Someone else was here. Then she saw her. A figure stepped out of the shadows. Another human. But something was wrong. The face was Lena Ray's again, but not quite. Her eyes glowed faint blue, her skin pale, her movements too smooth. Ray raised her weapon. Another clone. The figure smiled. Not exactly. I am Valkyria 0, the first, the prototype. Ray stepped back. You were before me? 0 nodded. Yes, I was the first attempt to merge human thought with Zarnik tech. I was never meant to leave the lab, but I escaped. I built this place, hid them here, while I waited for you. Ray kept her weapon ready. Why wait? Because I knew the others would fail. You didn't. You completed the mission. Now we finished the war. Ray lowered her pistol. What do you mean? 0 walked over to the frozen pods. These soldiers were the last humans trained to lead Earth's final assault. But they never got the chance. Earth fell too fast. Now, we wake them. Now, we fight back. Ray looked at the pods. Their faces were calm, peaceful, waiting. Are they strong enough? Ray asked. 0 looked at her. With you? Yes. Ray reached out. Her hand hovered over the activation switch. She looked at the man in pod 12. Commander Orion, the leader. His eyes were closed, but his face was sharp, ready. Ray nodded. Wake them? 0 smiled. Welcome to Valkyria Unit 12. The pods hissed open, one by one. The soldiers woke up, eyes opened, breaths taken, confused at first, then alert. Ray stepped forward. You don't know me, but I know you. Earth is gone, but the fight isn't over. We have 1 ship, 1 crew, and 1 last mission. Commander Orion stood up. He looked at her. Who are you? Ray gave a small smile. I'm the clone they couldn't break. Let's go win a war. The Valkyria moved through space like a ghost. Inside, the last human warriors stood together for the first time in years. Ray stood at the front, armor shining, face calm. Beside her, Commander Orion, strong and silent, the original leader of Valkyria Unit 12 LT Maren, the team's tech expert, quick with computers and words. SKT Vega, heavy weapons, big heart, always ready to fight. And Valkyria 0, the prototype, not fully human, not fully machine. Together, they were the last flame of Earth's old fire. In the command room, they stared at the holomap. Zarnik Prime was behind them. But ahead, something worse. This is it, 0 said, pointing to a dark red area. Zarnik Black Core, their last command center, the place where all clone programs began. Orion crossed his arms. You destroyed their hive, but they're still building new weapons here. Ray nodded. Yes, Echo 9 warned me. They have something stronger now, something different. Maren typed fast. I hacked an old signal from their network. They call it the Monarch. Vega frowned. What is it? A weapon? Ray shook her head slowly. No, a mind, a control system. It can take over clones, and maybe even humans. A heavy silence filled the room. Orion looked at Ray. If they finish this Monarch, they'll make a new army, and next time, we won't be able to stop it. 0 added. They don't need to invade planets anymore. They just send 1 Monarch and turn your people into theirs. Ray stood tall. Then we stop it. Before it's born, the team got ready. They had 1 ship, 1 shot. They would drop into the Black Core, destroy the Monarch before activation, and get out, if they could. Ray sat alone in the armory. She looked at her pulse blade. The weapon felt like part of her now. 0 walked in quietly. You're not like them, she said. You mean the humans? 0 nodded. You think like Lena, fight like Lena, but you are something new. Ray looked at her. I don't know if I'm human or machine. 0 smiled. Your hope. The Valkyria reached the edge of the Black Core. Dark clouds surrounded the Zarnik structure. Giant alien towers rose like knives. Drones flew everywhere. Shields covered the skies. Too thick for full entry, Moran said. They'll shoot us down if we get close. Ray looked at Orion. We go old style. Drop pods. The team nodded. They suited up. For pods. One team. One target. The pods launched. Through fire. Through storm. Through enemy gunfire. Boom. They hit the ground hard. Ray rolled out first. Guns ready. The black core was huge, like a living city. The walls moved. The air felt wrong. Stay tight, Orion said. We move fast, in and out. They moved through alien halls. Guards saw them. Too late. Ray and Vega cut through them fast, silent, deadly. Moran hacked doors. Zero blocked signals. Finally, they reached the heart, a black chamber with silver wires and glowing tubes. And in the middle, the monarch. It looked like a brain, huge, alive, floating in dark fluid, pulsing. Ray stepped forward. That's it. Zero looked nervous. No, it's already waking. The monarch's eyes opened. Yes, it had eyes, human eyes, hundreds, all blinking. It spoke in many voices. I know you, Ray. You are not real, just a broken shadow of Lena. Join me. I will make you whole. Ray didn't move. I've been whole since the moment I chose to fight. She threw the charge. Boom, nothing. The monarch laughed. Too late. I am in the system. Suddenly, Ray's comm buzzed. Vega. To Ray, something's wrong. Moran just collapsed. Her eyes turned blue. Ray turned and saw Moran standing still, cold, eyes glowing. The monarch got her, Vega shouted. Moran lifted her weapon. Fired. Vega dropped behind cover. Ray ran forward. Moran, fight it. Moran's voice was broken, too strong. Ray didn't stop. She grabbed her and jammed a shock device to her neck. Moran screamed, then went limp. Eyes turned normal. Did it work? Vega asked. Ray checked her pulse. She's still in there. But now they knew the monarch could take control of any of them. Zero said quickly. I can upload a purge code, but I need 60 seconds. Do it, Orion said. They formed a circle around her, holding off Zarnik drones, holding the line. Ray fought like fire. Vega fired heavy. Shotzi Moran, half awake, threw grenades. The monarch screamed through their minds. You are alone. You are dying. Ray shouted back. No, we're human, and we never go down alone. Zero uploaded the code. The monarch screamed louder. Walls cracked. Tubes burst. Light exploded. Then silence. Dead silence. The monarch was gone. Destroyed. They had won. But outside, hundreds of Zarnik soldiers were rushing in. Ray looked at her team. We can't fight them all. Vega smiled. Then we blow the whole place. Ray nodded. Orion said calmly. Let's end it right. The monarch was dead. But now, the Zarnik army was coming. Thousands of soldiers, drones, war beasts, crawling through the black tunnels of the core, all heading toward Ray and her team. Inside the control chamber, the floor shook. Vega checked her gun. Out of ammo. Moran was still weak, leaning on the wall. Orion stood tall, calm. Ray, we don't have long. Ray stared at the map. The core's power systems were breaking down. But if they destroyed the center reactor, they could blow up the entire base. We destroy the reactor, Ray said. None of us may get out, but they won't either. Zero nodded. I'll guide you to the core, but I must stay. I have to link into the system to trigger full meltdown. Ray looked at her. That's a one-way trip. Zero smiled. I was never meant to last. They moved fast. The Zarnik were closing in. Ray, Orion, Moran, and Vega ran through burning halls. They passed broken tubes, dead clones, fallen machines. The black core was dying. Ray opened her comm. AI. This is Valkyria. Can you hear me? The ship's voice replied faintly. Signal weak, but alive. I'm coming for you. Ray smiled. Good. Bring the fire. They reached the reactor chamber. It was massive, glowing red. Sparks flew everywhere. Strange energy floated in the air. Zero linked into the system. Her hands moved fast. Beginning overload 5 minutes. Suddenly, boom. The door behind them exploded. The Zarnik had arrived, hundreds of them. Ray and Orion moved in front of Zero. Vega picked up a heavy alien weapon. Let's make this count. They fought with everything. Ray moved like lightning. Blade slicing through armor. Orion covered her back, sharp and precise. Vega's new gun melted enemies in one blast. Moran crawled to a console, using her last strength to block Zarnik signals. They were outnumbered, but not out of hope. Zero called out. 2 minutes until full overload. Suddenly, a giant shape dropped from the ceiling. Commander Dravix somehow. He survived the hive. His armor was stronger now. His eyes burned red. You think this ends here? He growled. You are nothing but a failed copy, he charged at Ray. They clashed again. Blades, fists, sparks. Ray was tired, wounded, but she didn't stop. I'm not a copy, she shouted. I'm Lena's choice. She stabbed forward, deep into his chest. Dravix fell. For good. Zero shouted. 1 minute. The chamber was falling apart. The reactor pulsed like a heartbeat. The walls shook. Light turned red. Ray looked around. Too many enemies. Too little time. Orion yelled, Ray, we have to go, now. But Ray didn't move. She looked at Zero. You'll die if you stay. Zero smiled. Peaceful. I was built to end this. Ray's voice cracked. So was I suddenly. The Valkyria ship broke through the roof. Boom. Firing from above. The AI shouted. Dock open. You have 30 seconds. Ray grabbed Maren. Vega and Orion covered them. They ran through fire and gunshots, jumping into the ship one by one. Ray was the last to look back. Zero stood there, calm, eyes glowing. Go, Zero said. Ray nodded. Thank you. Then she jumped into the ship. The Valkyria flew up, fast. Behind them, the black core exploded. A giant blast tore through the Zarnik base. Fire spread across the planet. In space, Ray watched it from the ship window. A sun made of vengeance. A message written in fire. Never try to make another Lena Ray. Later, the crew sat together in silence, alive, but changed. Vega had a new scar. Marin's voice was quiet. Orion stared at the stars. Ray stood near the window, thinking. The AI spoke. Captain, new signals detected. Ray turned. Zarnik, no. Human, many, all across the sector. Ray's eyes widened. They survived, yes, colonies, refuge fleets, hiding, waiting. But they're calling now. Orion stood beside her. They need someone to lead them. Ray looked out at the stars. Her voice was calm, clear. Then let's answer. Epilogue. Years later, the story of Lena Ray's clone became legend. The Zarnik never tried to copy humanity again. Not because they couldn't, but because they remembered the one clone who turned their weapons against them. A girl born in a lab, trained by memories. Built for war, but who chose freedom. And gave Earth one last chance.